Welcome back, everybody. I want to show you the progress we've made on our high tunnel up at the house. So this was the pallet, if you saw last week's video, where our tunnel was waiting to be put up. And now this all went up yesterday in a matter of 5 hours or so, just by myself. So I want to show you the steps, because these tunnels are really easy to assemble. They're really modular and easy to take down and move. And they're relatively inexpensive, so we really highly recommend these. The area, we realized we had to grade it first, so you can see it's kind of a mud mess here because it rained yesterday and last night, but we made this pad area smooth. Our neighbor Jeremy came by and just smoothed it out. And then we laid this landscape fabric. You can see my muddy footprints, but this is really important for weed control. And also just making it so it's not a muddy mess. I really like how this turned out. We used 4-foot wide landscape fabric, and it's a 16 foot tunnel. So you can see it's about 18 feet spanning from there to there. And this is really nice because so these tunnels, instead of being pounded into the ground, there's, let's see if I can lift this off, but see that rebar? That rebar is pounded into the ground, and then these hoops are placed on top of it. The rebar goes about 15 inches up. And this is a leg extension that you can purchase with these tunnels, just so they are a little bit taller. But the landscape fabric's really nice because then these carabiners, these little hooks where the string is lashed across and connects, it doesn't sink into the mud, which is a huge issue and just kind of a headache with other tunnels that we have in the field that I've experienced. Again, we have the wind bracing here, so this is really important, especially in this area. It's not as windy as the farm because we have these trees, that huge tree right there blocking, and then these two trees right here. So the wind isn't as bad, but it's still really nice to have a peace of mind that your tunnel isn't going to bow in and the plastic will blow off. And then again, we put this wiggle wire channel for additional reinforcement, so that the plastic will attach into that channel through some wiggle wire, which you can see here. This just wiggles through that channel. It's really, really handy for this kind of plastic greenhouse work. So what I'm doing right now, I've been up on this ladder and I'm attaching these little, I guess you could call them hooks. They're kind of couplers. And what this does is it attaches the top purlin, so just this metal bar to the top, and that just keeps it rigid and all the posts in place without wobbling back and forth. So you can see these are pretty easy to wobble, but that top purlin makes it so they're all rigid. And then the next step after that is putting the plastic on. I hope we can show you that in this video as well, if time permits. It's kind of a race against time right now because our whole greenhouse in here is entirely full. We've actually started putting trays underneath tables on slats and pallets and everything. So, and then this outdoor hardening off table that we showed you last week as well in front of the greenhouse is also entirely full. So we're going to need to get this guy up and running pretty soon. And then what we're going to do is put these tables that I had from taking down another structure on cinder blocks and just have them kind of low to the floor, but they'll be in here. We may need to build some more tables as well, but that's the progress so far, and I'm going to get back to it because we want to get this tunnel up. So now you can see the purlin went up. It was pretty easy. So we had to put these T-post anchors at the ends because you'll see, but what's going to happen is the plastic is going to get pulled over and then scrunched up and tied around this T-post as an anchor. We also brought in the tables before the plastic goes up because these sides, there's no end wall, so it's kind of difficult to move a large or long item into these tunnels. So we still are waiting on our cinder blocks, but those will be easier to move in. So yeah, let's put this plastic on and then we'll lash it and give you a little view of what that process looks like. we're back at this tunnel that we're gonna put the plastic on this morning. We've been waiting for a low wind day. It's been pretty windy lately, but it's supposed to be like less than 2 miles per hour till the afternoon. So Aaron and I, this guy in the back, are going to put the plastic on. So here it is in all its glory. Hello, little Farmer's Friend tunnel. Just a couple little snafus that we came upon. The wiggle wire channel. It's really important to tape the sharp ends of where it's connected to the metal hoop, because when you pull it over, it could potentially rip the plastic. But other than that, it was pretty smooth. We had a lot extra at the end, so we cut off the excess and tied it down. Sorry, it's really bright. But yeah, we're gonna be moving all of our plants, or a lot of them, probably half of them, into this starting tomorrow, and we'll show you how the inside looks after that. Thanks. Before we go this week, I just want to give you a sense of how incredibly packed this greenhouse is, because a couple nights ago it got down to, I think, 25. The first night it was a little warmer. It was like 27, I think, and I left the plants outside in our hardening off area. You can see behind me. You can see now it's all clear, but I left them off under plastic. I thought they would be fine because they're really hardy. They're brassicas and onions. But in the morning, they looked kind of sad. So the next day I brought them all into the greenhouse, and let's just take a peek to see how that looks in there. So our greenhouse is entirely full now, every single inch, even our seating space, even underneath. I created kind of these makeshift slats, and we put plants all underneath the tables, so it's crazy in here. But what I'm working on now is taking plants back out. So like these peas can go on the hardening off table you saw behind me. The onions are out there, and then we'll take things like lettuces and bok choy, which are almost ready to plant actually outside, but they could use a couple more days just acclimating to temperatures. That's why we bring them outside first. It's called hardening off. But yeah, we have a lot of dandelion greens, lettuces. Spring is here. And then we've been potting up for plant sale as well. So these peppers will have another few weeks to grow. And then you can see all of our tomatoes. I think we're gonna have about 1,000 tomato plants to sell, all different varieties. But that's the greenhouse. And then next week we'll show you how the tunnel that we put up, how that's faring. Thanks so much.